We're going to continue our series, Acts Facts, a Jewish journey through the book of Acts. We're going to begin to look today at a chapter that's fairly monumental, that's fairly critical. So critical I'm going to take my time through it. We're going to pause frequently and say, Selah. Let's think about this. Let's wrestle with these ideas. Let's wrestle with these concepts. We're not going to rush. We're not trying to keep a schedule. We're simply trying to be faithful. So when last we left our intrepid band of apostles, Paul and Barnabas, they had just returned from their first, what we call, the first missionary journey, which took place in Asia Minor. They made their way back to Antioch. The significance, you remember, of the first missionary journey is that not only does it reveal very clearly Paul's strategy in reaching the world for the Lord, of presenting the gospel to the Jew first, and then also to the Greek, but it also is the first time that we see a positive and healthy, vigorous reception for the gospel among not just Gentiles who are familiar with the God of Israel, who are God-fearers, or who are proselytes of the gate, but Gentiles who have absolutely no connection with the God of Israel whatsoever. Truly, our Messiah is proven Lord of all. But the news of the apostles' accomplishments among the Gentiles did not escape the notice of the mother church in Jerusalem. Of course, it went to Antioch where they returned, but it spread, the story spread all around, especially Jerusalem. Now, understandably, the Jewish believers took great interest in the salvation of the Gentiles. We still do, by the way. But Peter, you remember, was the pioneer of Gentile salvation, Acts chapter 10, 7 weeks ago. And remember having commended Paul and Barnabas, along with James and John, in their mission to the Gentiles at their last meeting together in Jerusalem 2 years earlier. The apostles had a personal stake in the outcome of the mission. They had put their stamp of authority and approval on Paul and Barnabas. So shortly following the missionaries' return, Peter journeys to Antioch in order to hear in person from Paul and Barnabas of these great evangelistic results, which he certainly would have received with joy. And you say, wait a second, Stephen, I didn't find that in the text of Acts. Well, you won't find that particular detail in the text of Acts. That is recorded by Paul in the second chapter of Galatians, the first portion of the second chapter of Galatians, chapter 2, verses 1 through 10. And I'm summarizing here because you cannot read a book of the Bible in the vacuum. It's not a Hoover that you can just turn it on and let it suck up the dirt on one portion of your carpet. You have to clean the entire house. You have to read the entirety of Scripture. A carpet never stands alone. And we cannot vacuum one portion of, well, you might be able to, but I couldn't. And so we have to compare and collate what Paul says with what Luke says, put them together. And thus we have the background for Acts chapter 15. So, Peter has made his way up to Antioch to be with Paul and Barnabas and hear this great news for himself. But in Peter's wake, right behind him, were other Jewish believers, and they happened to be of the party of the Pharisees. So, how could they be Jewish believers and still a part of the party of the Pharisees? Well, Paul was. I didn't say I was a former Pharisee. Paul continued, of course, to identify with that particular sect, even though he was a follower of Messiah.